Muichiro vs Giyuu is one of the most one-sided fights within the series, more one-sided than Giyuu vs Akaza. However, I've seen this topic floating around on YouTube and TikTok, so today I'll be putting a stop to all of the misconceptions and explaining to you all the true winner of this battle. The battle starts off in base, however they can enter their mark state. So with that said, let's get into the actual video. To start off with Muichiro, seeing as he's the younger of the two, we know that he's described as a prodigy who became a horse rider around the same age as Tanjiro. This is further noted in the manga too by Tengen, who is extremely shocked at Muichiro reaching such strength at such a young age. Muichiro's main showings come from his fight against Giyuu. During this fight, we see Giyuu is able to dodge base Muichiro on several occasions using his blood demon now. Many people like to say that this isn't really a downscale for Muichiro, seeing as his teleportation. However, we know that Giyuu has to fully disappear into his pot to teleport, which would mean he has to dodge Muichiro first to be able to teleport. Again, this would obviously be implicative of Giyuu just being far faster than Muichiro. Aside from this, it's very likely that Giyuu is holding back even when he beats up Muichiro and puts him in the water base. This is implied because even though Giyuu is sent there by Muzan to kill people, he is a very playful character by nature who enjoys to torture his victims. For example, he chooses to torture one of the swordsmiths instead of breaking them or killing them just to see if he can break his focus. So Muichiro when in base is far below a holding back Giyuu. However, this completely changes when Muichiro enters his marked state. Once in this form, Muichiro is able to easily break out of the vase that he was previously contained in, and once Giyuu goes into his highest state, we see Muichiro is still able to casually dodge him, and when he uses his haze breathing form, we see that he's just far faster than Giyuu, that even being stated by the author. The fact that they need to mention how Muichiro is only faster when he goes at top speed implies that beforehand that they are at least relative, with Muichiro being on the slightly lower end. Muichiro's scaling doesn't really change after going into Infinity Castle, as Kokushibo makes quick work of him and easily beats him up, only pulling out his sword because he thought it would be rude if he didn't. Many people like to over-exaggerate Muichiro being able to land a hit on Kokushibo or dodge his attacks. However, we see Kokushibo is getting distracted by Giyuu, and at the same time, it's very likely Kokushibo is holding back on Muichiro to try and turn him into a demon. And even if you don't like that interpretation, Muzan states verbatim that when people are on the verge of death, they receive immense surges of strength. Famous examples of these would include Rengoku being able to block Akaza's punch, which he was previously unable to do. So with Muichiro scaling out of the way, we can finally get into the water horse Giyuu Tomioka. Giyuu's main feats come from his fight against Akaza or Upper Moon 3 and Muzan. Seeing as many people like to dismiss Muzan's feats, and it would be a pain to explain why he actually scales to Muzan, I'll just not be covering it here and cover it in a separate video. But for now, we can only stick to Akaza scaling, and I don't really think it will change the outcome of this matchup. As I covered in my previous video, Giyuu is consistently able to react and keep up with Akaza in base. We see he's consistently able to block and dodge his attacks, and they are shown to just be consistently relative to each other in terms of speed and AP. Giyuu then gets kicked through multiple walls and takes severe damage. However, he then comes back and is shown to be able to activate the mark. Giyuu tanking Akaza's attack point blank, plus the additional damage done by getting slammed through all of those walls, is an underrated durability feat that I don't really see much people talking about, and would at least put him above most of the upper moons in terms of at least durability. And I don't think any of the upper moons are one-shotting or like trapping him in a vase like they did to Muichiro, but that's just me though. Once Giyuu gets the mark, he is shown to be able to overwhelm Akaza, almost cutting off his head on one occasion. Giyuu shows much better feats, including blocking some of Akaza's end techniques, which are stated to be far faster and stronger than his regular ones. He is also able to consistently do damage to Akaza, and even intercept him at moments to save Tanjiro, and it overall has a very solid argument and a solid case to be called the MVP of the Akaza fight. But who would win? Well, quite obviously Giyuu. If Muichiro in base is getting absolutely choked to death by Giyuu and getting consistently outpaced, yet Giyuu is consistently shown to be able to keep up with Akaza praising him, saying that he's the best water user that he's seen in 50 years, then it's very clear that there's a strength difference between them. Even if we compare their marked versions, the best you can get from Muichiro is that he's able to quote unquote be faster than Giyuu in some occasions when he is at his absolute maximum. However, for Giyuu on the other hand, you have him being able to massively outpace Akaza, and also we also have him just being able to block some of Akaza's end techniques, which are massively stronger than anything Gyoku or Muichiro has. So Giyuu should take this low to no difficulty, but if you like the video, please remember to like and subscribe, and have a nice day.